It's a matter of time, dark skies and howling winds. The sun is coming and gone, what stands will surely fall. Chaos is coming down. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. Chaos is coming. It's gonna rain. It's gonna.
Welcome back to the channel. As you can see in the footage here, earlier had a car crash back in June, and this current footage that you're seeing here is a flight flying back from the city that I had to drop the car off to get fixed. Anyways, there's a lot of details to go over for this episode, so let's get right into it. To start off with, we have government run insurance here in British Columbia. I'm not sure. I think most other provinces are run by private insurance where you have actual competition. But anyways, the footage you saw, and I'll just kind of maybe throw it up on the screen here as I'm talking to it. I did have my Tesla cam footage. I sent it in. It seemed pretty clear to me. But according to ICBC, which is Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, they are blaming 50-50. So they say that I'm 50% responsible and the other person is 50% responsible. And the reason they claim is because the Tesla was not 100% in the lane. It was probably 99.9% in the lane. And as you can see in the footage, we swerved out of the way to avoid collision. But still, that car was not paying attention, crashed right into us, even though we tried to swerve. Why they don't go 70% them, 30% us, or something like that, I don't know, but that's what happens when you have insurance that's run by the government. I tried to debate this with the adjuster, but ultimately, since I'm not really a customer, right, with a choice, they didn't care what I had to say, and so they do as they please. Anyways, I asked the adjuster about where to get the repair, because as you've seen in other videos, getting service for Teslas, especially a big crash like that, was not going to be fun. And I brought up the fact that this was Tesla. And they're like, oh yeah, just you can get a service anywhere that's ICBC approved. And I brought up the point that, well, none of the shops in town are Tesla approved. And they go, oh no, it shouldn't be a problem. But unfortunately, he was completely wrong, completely clueless. And as I called around, nobody in town, and in fact, nobody within like 800 kilometers of where I live, even though I live in a city of 80,000 people, no one was able to do body shop repair. So you'll see on the screen there's basically two places in the province. Lower Mainland, near Vancouver, Fraser Valley is one area, and the other area is Kelowna. Those are the two options, and they're both equally as far away. So, still able to drive the car for a few months. So, I decided to kind of delay. I did call the one shop in Kelowna, CSN Performance, and I said, okay, I'll drop it off near the end of August. Still need to use the car for a while, and it was still drivable somehow. And so the first thing I did right after the accident, went to this wheel alignment shop to make sure that the wheels were not out of alignment, because if you're going to drive it for a while, after an accident, your tires can be out of alignment and you'll quickly bald those tires. So got that done. And a month later, before dropping the car off at CSN Kelowna Performance, suddenly we had these errors pop up in the car and the air conditioner stopped working. And of course, it was 30 degrees Celsius outside, probably the hottest part of the summer. And the AC was not working. Put it in service mode, tested it out. Anyways, nothing to do with the crash as far as I know. But anyways, it wasn't working. So for the next while, that was in mid-July. So probably for about a month and a half, we drove without air conditioning. Anyways, after that, ended up driving 800 kilometers down to Kelowna near the end of August when I made that appointment. Ended up staying in a hotel overnight, flying home on a flight. So that's pretty expensive to deal with that. And so anybody who's living in the north who gets into a crash, there's a lot of difficulty involved with getting your car repaired. And so anyways, Another difficulty adding on to that was I drove down Highway 5, and there just happened to be power out for like a 2 to 3 hour section of the highway. The power was off, like some kind of emergency repairs on the hydro lines there. So I ended up charging up a little bit extra in Valemount, even before knowing that this power outage was there. Valemount had power, but as soon as I went south from there, I didn't get power again until Little Fort, which is quite a distance away. So I found out once I got to Blue River, I saw a bunch of other EVs there. They were not plugged in. They're just sitting in front of the chargers, probably stranded because they didn't have enough state of charge to carry on. Anyways, I had enough charge and I started hypermiling as I drove south, slowing down, etc., to conserve energy. As I got to Clearwater, no electricity. And finally I got to Little Fort, and the rest area there ended up charging, so that was nice. Anyways, made it all the way to Kelowna, and took about, I think it was, like I said, 8 hours and 800 kilometers. I discussed with CSN Kelowna Performance the things that we needed to do, and I'll just flash those up on the screen. So I had pointed out to them on the phone, look, you guys are far away. I want everything fixed, everything possible to be fixed that's wrong with the car. I don't want to be making multiple trips. It costs a lot of money. It's a lot of hassle to do this. Let's get it all done. Let me know when the repair is going to be, because I had another flight booked for 3 weeks later to come back. So if there's anything that's going to be delayed, I need to know. And the next thing was my air conditioning stopped working. I want you to take a look at that, even if it's not related to the crash. I need that fixed. And they threw in they actually recommended, I had a broken windshield, and they said, yeah, we can do that as well. So great, we'll do that. And they also were going to do the paint protection film on the section of the body that was damaged. So great, 4 things, they're going to do that. Let's get it all done, and let me know if it's going to be delayed, because I have to rebook my flight to fly back to Kelowna to drive the car home. All right, so we talked about that, and really, like I said before, I had 2 options: either go to Kelowna or Vancouver. And I really don't enjoy going in the Vancouver area. It's extremely busy, and the places where the Vancouver service centers are a bit more challenging to get to. And anyways, so I thought I'll try Kelowna out. So anyways, I asked the guy at CSN Kelowna Performance, is Tesla a difficult company to work with? You're an auto body shop, and compared to the other cars that they work on, BMW, Mercedes, other performance cars like that, are they, is there something special that makes them more difficult to deal with? They said, not really. All the manufacturers, there's long delays to get parts. The only issue with Tesla is that they don't have a person that they have a relationship with at the company. There's always turnover there. There's not like a person you can easily get a hold of if you need to, deal with problems happening. And that creates extra delays in itself. So, for example, they order some windshields replacements for Teslas, and it comes on a crate. And as it arrives on the shipper vehicle, they're broken. So now you need to contact Tesla to say, the windshields are broken. The person that you shipped with, or whatever, something happened. I need replacements, and, you need to deal with this. So anyways, things like that, or misunderstandings, it's a bit more easier to do with Tesla. But overall parts, it's pretty much the same. If they go to work on your vehicle and they pull the panels off that are damaged and find parts behind the panels that need to be replaced, that's 2 weeks minimum delay. They order that, takes at least 2 weeks, maybe more, to get those parts. So getting body work done for all these vehicles, it's a challenge in the province. Nothing specific to Tesla, at least that's what they reported. All right, so where does this leave us? So had some communication with CSN Kelowna Performance. The car is just about finished. They've got the panels on. They've got the PPF on. They said they did some diagnostics, and it looks like the air conditioner just started working on its own, which kind of is surprising because I actually had error codes and it literally wasn't working for like a month and a half. But we'll see. In about a week, I'd pick it up. So we'll see what the conclusion is, how much insurance costs, all that kind of stuff. So I will plan on flying out to Kelowna, driving it home, and we'll have another part 2 of this video with all the stats, the drive home, all those details, and we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video for part 1.